So we've tiptoed around it enough. Let's get to talking about our spotlight, Super Mario Brothers 3. Harrison's favorite game ever.
Well, it's in my top five, and I took no notes on power ups because I thought we've talked about mostly what all the power ups in the game already.
So one thing that I saw, and I really wish I wrote the issue number down, but I'm not good at taking notes apparently. But I looked up the Nintendo Power issue where they previewed Mario Brothers 3 for the first time to see what were they saying when this game came out. And there's a funny part on one of the pages where they basically explain to the readers like what a world map is, because this was the first Mario game with the world map. And I just thought that was such a cute little detail. I think I've already posted it on Twitter, but I'll post it again. I just thought that was so funny. It was like they explain like, here I forget the way they word it, but people had to wrap their heads around that concept.
Yeah, I mean it's just so much more massive than the original game, and I wrote down the fact that like this game came out only 5 years after the first one, and I know that studios and production is a lot bigger now, but I mean, could you imagine like that would be like on Switch if we had like 4 Odyssey games by now,
Yeah.
Right.
or something like that.
None of the Mario series, I've always thought about that like none of them have made it to a third game except this series, because Galaxy only made it to 2. Even the Super Mario Land, the third one is a Wario game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think any of them have made it to 3 except this series.
Right. And 3, or if you want to include the Lost Levels, 3 games that are just very, very different. And the fact
I guess
that like
New Super Mario Brothers has, I just realized there's like 4 of those.
yeah. I mean,
Oh well.
the fact that Miyamoto could have just said, okay, like we're just going to make a game similar to the first one, everyone's going to buy it, and then that's going to be the last game on this system. But I was also thinking about too, how about like when we reviewed Super Mario World 2, about how they wanted to make it like very replayable because they knew it was going to be the last one on Super Nintendo. So just the fact that like they could have like just made money off doing just their original ideas, but they wanted to create something completely new, which ended up being very innovative for platformers in general.
So it was actually the third best-selling game on the system too. I mean, we always mention install base. Its install base was as big as it was going to be at that point. But yeah, it's the third best. The first best is Mario Brothers, and the second best-selling game is Duck Hunt, which shouldn't count.
Because it's also a pack. Well, weren't all 3 of those games pack-in games at some point?
I think so.
Mario and Duck.
So.
Oh yeah, they think they did one for Mario Bros. 3 as well. You're right. I have the whole top 5. Number 5 was Tetris, and number 4 is Super Mario Brothers 2, the international, like not the Lost Levels version. And yeah, that's the whole top 5. And yeah, so Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, the numbers are funny because they're split in a weird way, because like not all those cartridges have Duck Hunt on them.
Yeah. They had a version of Duck Hunt on its own too, right?
Oh, I don't know that. I know they have a Mario on its own. I'll Google that real quick.
But yeah, Mario 3 is a game that anyone I knew who had an NES had it.
For sure.
Right. I mean, it might
They
be.
did.
Okay.
They had a separate Duck Hunt game.
I never knew this. Yeah, it looks like they had a solo Duck Hunt cartridge.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
How many hours are you putting on that? Well, I guess it's a different time though. I guess
Yeah.
there's not. I guess there's not so many options. But
I've
yeah,
never seen this in my life. I've only seen the one that's, the 2 games. And the 3-game one. You remember the 3-game one that had track meet?
Yes.
But I've never seen the solo duck hunt. I'll see it everywhere now that it's been brought to my attention, though. That's how life works. All right, sorry, I was interrupting. I'm interrupting a lot tonight. What were you saying, Harrison?
Oh, I don't remember now, but I'll keep it going though. Um,
Okay.
I also learned from the completionist as well that Boom Boom is not a Koopa.
What?
I actually did not know that, but then when I looked up certain like Nintendo pages online, some of them label him as a Koopa, but he's not. He's Boom Boom. His species is a Boom Boom. It's like Yoshi.
So that would be
Um,
like if my name was Human?
it would be like if you were Yoshi. I don't know,
I don't want to
or
be Yoshi.
person,
Yeah,
man,
person.
man, woman, person, TV. I don't know, whatever it was, right? Um, but he's not a Koopa, and I never knew that until I watched the video yesterday on it, and I was like, really? And there's quite the Reddit debate on this one.
I wonder if, so is it like the Reddit debate about Bowser Jr. being the son of Princess Peach?
Right.
What?
Which, because in Mario Sunshine, Bowser says that Bowser Jr. calls Peach Mama, and they make a few references to her being his mother. But people who didn't finish the game, I guess, didn't see there's a post credits to Mario Sunshine where Bowser says to Bowser Jr. basically says like, yeah, she's, I don't know the exact wording, but he says she's not really your mom. I lied to you. So I guess people didn't get to that part because the internet only cares about the part they can see.
Huh.
So Bowser Jr. calling her mama is just kind of strange then.
Yeah.
It's like Twitter behavior like these days.
Well, I've seen a few of them who actually did know about the ending because they're like, yeah, he says this in the ending, but there must have been some plausibility if there must be something going on if Bowser Jr. believed it. So like, it's an interesting piece of Mario trivia. Just saying. We still don't know where Bowser Jr. came from.
Right, and there's debate on whether like the Boom Boom species is somehow related to Koopas, and I don't know, like, and also like this was the last time Boom Boom was in a mainline game until 3D World.
Really?
He right, yeah, it was
Wow.
24 years. I think it
Wow.
was. So I think he made. I think there's references in other Mario games, or I can't remember if he's in Paper Mario, but yeah, fun piece of trivia for a random Nintendo character.
Another piece of trivia about this game that I made up myself. I'm pretty sure this is the game that's on Nintendo Switch Online the most because it's on the NES service, it's on the Super Nintendo service with All Stars, and it's on the Game Boy Advance service now with Super Mario Advance 4. So they have this game on there 3 times.
But wait, isn't it's also on Virtual Console for Wii and also for Wii U? I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of
N-
other releases, yeah.
Not including Virtual Console. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's on that. So I remember when they put the Game Boy Advance games up, I didn't say it here on this podcast, but when they announced, when that initial lineup was posted, I remember thinking that should have been a different game because I was like, we already have this in 2 different places. We don't need another Super Mario Brothers 3, but I played it in preparation for tonight's episode, and I've never played that version before. And I mean, we'll get more in depth in this when when that game gets selected, but I think I like that version the best out of all the versions of Mario Brothers 3.
Interesting.
I think
It
I
looks it
like
looks
all.
really good. It, like the backgrounds, everything, they did a great polish on it, and I love that it has the Mario voice clips in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking about it because I was like, oh, we're playing Mario 3. All right, cool. And I just went down the rabbit hole and I've been playing it all week. And it just got me thinking, like, what is it about this game? And I got it down to these points as to what I love about it. Growing up, if you went to your buddy's house and you're like, oh, we'll play Super Mario Brothers, whoever it is, his house you went to owned the game. So you had to wait till they died. So you'd get to play like 2 seconds of a level because, like, in my case, I didn't own an NES, so I wasn't very good at it. So you didn't really get to play the game much. And then Mario 2 was a single player game, so that didn't have the same feel for it. What I always liked about Mario 3 is whenever you'd go and play it with someone, it alternates between Mario and Luigi, so you can, even if you die within 3 seconds, oh, okay, well they're just gonna beat a level and then I can play again. So I've always loved that about it. And
Yeah, that is a great change.
for whatever reason, I prefer the airships to castles, and I really wish they would bring that back. Like, it was such a cool idea to basically have mobile dungeons, and I don't know, I just really wish they'd bring it back. They were always,
Well, they have both. Because they have the castles in the middle of the world, and then
yeah,
the end of the
they
world's
have
an airship.
the boom boom castles,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I prefer that even to like World where the Koopa kids all have castles. I don't know, I just really love the airship thing, and I just, it's a thing I wish would come back. I'm surprised they've never gone and returned to it, really.
They kind of did it in 3D World with those like parade levels that were very similar, but not the same. The like, you know what I mean? Like the train stuff.
Yep.
It's weird. You mentioned that, going over a friend's house and playing this game, and like I have a ton of memories in the same vein. And I was thinking all this week about this. It's weird. I don't have any nostalgia for this game for some reason.
Really?
And I've been noticing this is something that's happened with a few things that I've been over analyzing. I think Nintendo therapy time. Been over analyzing my life. Like I've been thinking about stuff like TV shows I watched back in the day where like I watched like every episode, but I have no desire to watch them as an adult. Yet there's other shows where I have a huge amount, like, and there'll be similar shows too. Like I watched all of Step by Step, all of like Full House. I don't have any desire to rewatch those as an adult, but Boy Meets World for some reason gives me a ton of nostalgia. So I don't know, like Nicktoons, like I have no nostalgia for Rugrats, but I have a ton of nostalgia for all the other Nicktoons that released around the same time. And it's the same thing with Super Mario Brothers 3. For some reason, I just don't have that nostalgia feeling for it. I had the Happy Meal toys. I watched the cartoon show. At the time, I was into this, but it just didn't stick with me for some reason. And hot take, I think I like Super Mario Brothers 2 more. I'm sorry.
All right. No, you don't have to be sorry. I mean, we know where Harrison sits on it, but I have a ton of nostalgia for Super Mario Brothers 3. Like I
I
said,
think
like,
all my nostalgia went into 2. Maybe I should save this for when we talk about that game. But like I don't know. I played them both an equal amount as a kid, and the first one too. And I just don't know. I don't get that feeling from this game where it takes me back to those times, even though I know I lived through those times.
I mean, Harrison, did you beat this game as a kid?
I did not beat this game until I was older. So
Okay.
actually,
I beat it for the first time last year.
so So this game came out about a month after I was born. Actually, about 2 months after I was born. Um,
Wow.
so I first played this game when I was pretty young, and I can always remember getting to like the ice level or the ice world, and then like stopping there or something. And back then, like because like again like Gerard said, he completed the game in 2.5 hours. But I remember like the first time I completed it, it was probably about 8 hours, like 6 or 8 hours, I think. And there's no saving or no like don't lose electricity or any
Yeah.
of that. Uh, so no, I didn't beat the game until I was a little bit older. And speaking of like the airships, I'm surprised how easy those are for me now, because I'm not like a big like a really great game or anything, but I find like some of these levels to be almost like muscle memory or like less intimidating now, at least, than what they used to
Those
be.
were so difficult when I was a kid, and I'm in the. I think the Game Boy Advance version was the first version I beat, and then I have actually beaten the NES one. But yeah, it was a game that, I mean, it still is, but like I wouldn't get frustrated playing Mario 3 and not doing well like I would with the original Mario Brothers.
It had great box art. I think I have more nostalgia for the box art than I do for the actual game. That's like a poster I would hang if I saw it available to buy.
Well, I'll add one more thing to the nostalgia part. The one big nostalgia part that I have is really just from the title screen and sort of this overall theme of like Super Mario Brothers 3 is it all like a big production? Is it all like on a stage?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of presented that way. And I feel like, especially Odyssey, there's other games where that I wrote down pizzazz, but that showmanship of Mario, I feel like that was a huge influence like later on. So I think my nostalgia comes from playing the game, but also just from all these different the music and just everything that's kind of all connected.
Mario 3 was also like when I discovered like learning about secrets in games by talking to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you initially found out, oh, if you stand on that white part of the level and hold down, you can go in the background. It's like that was so mind blowing at the time, and it's
I
just
have a note about that where when I was playing it, I noticed I was doing those secrets, and
yep,
some of them I was doing, and I was like, I don't even know why I do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I know this drops me down behind the background, but I don't know beyond that why I'm supposed to do this. And then you like in the third level, it gets you the warp whistle. I
yep.
think it's the third level, and there were other secrets that I was doing where you just do the like. It reminded me of another Nintendo game that I did this with was I think one of the reasons I never beat the original Zelda back in the day was everybody knows that if you type in your name as Zelda, it unlocks the second quest. And
Yeah.
just because I knew that piece of trivia, I would always type my name as Zelda and start on the second quest because like I was like, I don't really know what this does, but I know it's a secret, so I'm going to do it. You know what I mean?
Knowing
Um
that you're playing the harder version of the game.
Yeah, I didn't know I was playing the harder version. And it's kind of but that type of mentality is the same way with a lot of these Mario tricks where I'm like, I don't completely know why I'm doing this, but I know it's a secret, so I'm going to do it. And then I get to the end of the level and I'm like, "Oh, that's why. That's why you do that."
Like, I remember my cousins like being like, "Oh, the warp whistle." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then they like showed me, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing! Like, you can skip entire worlds."
I think it was the second warp whistle. I didn't know that's what was up there. I was like, I know I'm supposed to fly up here for something, but I don't remember what. So the secrets, they stay with you.
They do, and
Super
it's
Mario Brothers. Yeah.
No, go.
Oh, okay. I was just say this was the first game with auto scrolling.
Oh
Was
yeah.
it?
Yes, it was the first auto scrolling Mario game, which is hard to imagine now, like not having that mechanic. Uh, in
It
it.
was also the first appearance of Chain Chomp, which was inspired by Miyamoto's memories of a dog that lunged at him on a leash when he would play around his neighborhood.
Huh.
It had to be the first and maybe only for like a number of characters. So I looked it up. There's like almost like 100 different characters, enemies just in this game. It's pretty massive for like
No shortage of
especially
power-ups either.
right.
Nope.
And they even cut some. I was reading about one of the first ideas they had for a power-up was a centaur Mario, and that didn't make it into the game.
That would
Raccoon,
that would have been weird.
Tanooki, Centaur.
Centaurio?
I'm trying to imagine what a Mario Centaur looks like. But I'm just imagining Mario with like a big butt or something. I don't know. Which
I'm wondering what the ability would have been. I guess you could jump on enemies easier. I really don't know.
Or you could have run across the bitey plants like in the boot, maybe.
Maybe. IDK, my BFF Jill. So I guess we can rank this game now. Sean, it sounds like you're going to rank it pretty high. Where are you putting it?
All right, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I actually have this at the top of the list now.
That's exactly where I expected you to put it. And Harrison, I'm assuming you're the same. This is better than Super Mario World 2 to you?
right. So this is 1 out of 3 for me now. So this is number 1.
Yep. I put it below Yoshi's Island, but it's still number 2 on the list. It's probably going to stay there for a long time. Yoshi's Island was just a game I had more nostalgia for. I'll just keep using that word. And I might be a little biased because I just finished a complete playthrough of Yoshi's Island, so it's like fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
But I did have more fun playing Yoshi's Island, so I don't know. I have like Yoshi's Island's also a game that like I have a lot more memories of because I specifically remember getting that game, whereas Mario Brothers 3 was just like omnipresent in my childhood. Like, I don't know. It's like asking, what's your first memory of like Spider-Man or something? Like nobody remembers. He was just always there.
Yep.
So, but I remember getting Yoshi's Island and playing it for the first time and stuff like that. So I'm going to put it at number 2. Nothing crazy. I mean, I'm not like, I probably will put Super Mario Brothers 2 higher than it when we get to that. We'll see. But I have a feeling it's going to stay, in the top ranking games for a long time and possibly all the way to the end. It might end up being in the top 5 of the Switch Online service. We'll see.
I get stuff that'll knock it down, but for the time being, yeah, it's going to be there for a bit.
I don't want to try to think too far ahead because, that's, it's going to get really hard when it comes time to compare the great franchises. Like, how do you compare something like Ocarina of Time to Mario 64 and stuff like that? Like, it's like, but we'll have to do it eventually. And that's why I feel like this segment will lead to like better conversations like that.
I feel
in the
like
future.
In that case, it's easy. Ocarina of Time is better.
Yeah. But also like I would consider Ocarina, I would consider Mario Brothers 3, I would consider Yoshi's Island to all be S tier games. Like I think
for sure
they're all games that you should play at least one time. So like it's gonna be difficult to rank them in numbers, but if I had to put them in tiers, they would all be must play games, of course.
I mean, I'd say if you only played one Mario 2D platformer ever, I would say it would be 3. But
that was another thought that I had. If someone's never played a Mario game, what Mario game do you tell them to play first?
Super Mario World.
Super Mario.
I just realized already got kind of my thoughts on this when we did our demo episode and we ranked we picked our 5 favorite Mario games. I just
Oh
remembered
yeah.
Mario 3 wasn't even on that list for me. But and I went and I had a big rant in that episode about why I think I said I feel like when I only have 5 slots here, I can either do Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World, and I gave the edge to Super Mario World. So that's my answer now.
I'd say Mario 3 would be my if. Oh, you've never played a Mario game? Okay.